Hello and welcome to the testing video for the Camera AI program. I chose to make a video because some of the test cases do not really lend themselves to screenshots. Let's begin with the test case. Now, as you can see, the testing plan isn't ordered in chronological order, but that shouldn't be a problem for any of the test cases. So we're just going to go with it from order from top to bottom, even though this is not the chronological order of the program. We first have image upload and initialization as our first section. First case, we're going to upload a valid image. Our expected result is that the image loads into the application and processes correctly. With no errors. Let's see if that happens. Now, I did make a video like this before, but the thing is, the audio was messed up, so I couldn't use it at all. I did a lot of debugging, and I'm going to mention what broke when I was debugging the program last time and doing the testing video. And I'm going to mention how I fixed it. I'm also going to try and find any errors in this video as well. But I fixed most of the errors in the past testing video. Let's see. Going to log in. We're going to go into detail into this section later. But for now, let's just try uploading an image. Now the thing is, with the uploading image, you can only select from this tkinter file explorer window, and it only shows these files. But what if the file was mislabeled? What if it was a PNG? No, what if it was a PDF and it was labeled as PNG? Which is exactly what this image here is. What if it was a PNG mislabeled as a PDF? But now we're gonna try and choose a valid image like this beach ball JPEG. Now it should process it correctly. As we can see, it processed it correctly, detected objects beach ball. It translated into beach ball since we had English to English. Let's go to the next use case. First, let's try other formats. Let's try PNG now. I'm going to try WebP as well. Let's try WebP. As we can see, works with no errors. Let's try PNG. You can also see that it doesn't detect anything. All works as expected. Since this is object translation mode, it shouldn't be able to dissect anything. Yeah. Let's document this and move on to the next test case. Now I have my ideal results here, or expected results is that it's not possible because of the restriction of the file type. But I also made mislabeled images, so let's see how it handles that. I prepared a mislabeled image. It says it's a PNG, but it's actually a PDF I renamed to be a PNG. Let's see what happens. As we can see, we get an error, which we have to fix. So let's document this. I'm gonna fix the issue and come back. This is my attempted fix. Originally, it would just display an error message, but now it opens the home page, which I feel would be a better option. Let's try again. That's interesting. What does that happen? Oh, problem with the terminal. Don't mind that. Now what we expect now is for us to go back to the home page once it finds out that the image isn't really an image. Interesting. It's broke again. I think we have to close the page first before opening. Let's go to the process image page. We're gonna this should work now. As we can see, it stopped it. Let's try again. Now let's try PNG that's mislabeled as a PDF. We can't actually, because it's a PDF, it won't appear here. So let's move on to the next test case. I'm not sure what these errors are, but I'm choosing to ignore them because they don't really affect anything that's going on. So now we passed the test. Let's go to the third test case. Upload no file and attempt to proceed. Now when I tested the program before, this actually failed. And the reason was because I did not make sure to check if there was an image path. If you don't select something from the File Explorer and you just close the window, it won't give an image path. Now what I added was a check to see if there was an image path. If there's no image path, it won't do anything. If there is an image path, it will go to the processed image page. So now it's supposed to work, but before it didn't. Just show you that I've done testing before in a past video, but it broke. So now let's see if it works as expected. Let's just select nothing. As you can see, nothing happened. Now if we try again with valid image, it works as normal. By the way, this isn't the program crashing, it's just closing to the processing. Works as normal. Let's go into text recognition. The first test case we have here is upload a reasonably clean image with type text. Now what we expect to happen is that the text is correctly extracted. This is what I expect to happen. Now it's also supposed to translate to Spanish now. This was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Let's choose this image because it's really clean. It's in a standard font. This is probably like the best image you can feed into the program. As you can see, it's doing its processing. Image loaded, resized. This is, by the way, to either upscale it or downscale it so we can properly pre-process the image. If it's too small, median filter will blur everything. If it's too big, processing will be really slow. Works as expected. Now let's upload the slightly skewed image. Let's see if we have one in the photos folder first. we're gonna test two test cases with this photo since it's inverted. That's another test case. So we're gonna do two at once now. This is slightly skewed, less than this one. This one is 20 degrees. I'm pretty sure this one is like 10 degrees or something. So let's run. So we're also testing this. We're expecting it to pass both. Yeah. Let's see the temporary pre-processed image just to show you that it's pre-processed it into black text as expected into black text as normal. So let's pass those. This used to not work in the past, but I implemented a check to see if it's inverted in the auto algorithm. Let's see. This is the check. Feel free to analyze it if you want. Let's move on to the other test cases. Now we're going to upload an image with salt and pepper noise, which is, I have prepared an image for this, which is this image. Wait 1 minute. Calculations noise.png. We're going to check the temporary processed file as well, which is what our program writes into. Sorry, I chose object translation mode. We have to choose this mode. This is not relevant for now because we chose text translation. This is a calculation. It appears something is going on actually. So this this might be relevant. Let's check this out. It seems that the denoising hasn't worked as expected. Maybe it was too harsh for my algorithm. I'm gonna try something else. Wait, where's the image? Yeah, so this is a lot of noise, as you can see. I'm going to get a less noisy image and test that out instead. Let's pause the video for a bit. So now, as you can see, in the actual results column, I noted that the test with very noisy image failed. Now let's try to run it with a good image, or like a reasonably good image. Calculations noise, but this one is less noisy. So let's see if it pre-processes it correctly. By the way, this is the website I used to add some noise. This is the image. As you can see, it has some random dark spots. This is what the median filter is supposed to solve. So as we saw before, it completely broke it when we tried to do it. So yeah, now it works as expected. Let's see the file. As you can see, the noise is all completely removed. So you can say we passed the test. Now let's upload a low contrast or low brightness image. We're gonna choose 1 moment. Pretty sure there was something there. Let's try and use this one. There was an image that I wanted to use. Screenshots. 1 moment. I'm going to pause the video for a bit. I'm back. This is the image I prepared. You can see that it's really dark. I addressed this in the design, and now we're going to see if it's actually processed it correctly. Now from far away, it almost looks like a entirely gray image. So let's see if it finds the boundary threshold correctly. As we can see, it does. Let's open, yeah, as expected. Passed. Check output from Tesseract and pre-processed versus raw image. Let's try this same image without pre-processing. Let's do this manually. Let's try. How do I remove the pre-processing? Where is it? So there is no pre-processing here. Let's try the image. Sorry. It does not find any text. Now let's test out with the temp pre-processed image. As you can see, it says Tesseract outputs nothing. Or is it that because I did something? No. As you can see, it finds everything now. So yeah, the accuracy improved drastically. So let's add a pass there. So we just demonstrated the importance of the pre-processing algorithm. Because as you can see, it won't do anything useful with images that are dark, images that are skewed, things like that. Now we're going to upload an image with high skew. I'm just going to demonstrate what happens when you upload an image with high skew before doing anything to it first. Even though we're using like the calculation thing, it should ignore them. As you can see, does not detect anything. This now. Now this image has 20 degrees of skew, so pretty significant skew. Let's just update what's said in the low skew. Yeah, it's passed. So I expect this to pass as well because this is a pretty clean image, as you can see. But if it was like an unclean image like this, I don't think it would work. I tested this out before, and this image caused a lot of problems for my pre-processing algorithm because as you can see there's a gradient. It's pretty visible from here. You would need adaptive thresholding rather than auto thresholding for that. It's also like low quality. It's very pixelated, so it doesn't isolate the text pretty well. So this is a pretty bad image for my algorithm. So as we can see, the image with high skew also passed the test. Now, as I told you, we're going to test out this Sone image, this one. Something to note, both these have 4 images. Sorry, 4 languages. Now I'm just going to show you what I was talking about. Now this doesn't mean that it doesn't work for images taken by camera. I did test my algorithm with something that was taken with the camera and it worked before. So we're going to test that out after this. As you can see, something in the translation broke because of the weird input. Does not work at all. One moment, I need to find the image that I tested before. We have obtained the image. Let's test it now. Assess German. This is the image I'm using. It's my own handwriting. It's on a sheet of paper. I took this with my phone camera, which is the intended use for the program. I tried to make my handwriting as clean as possible, which meant making all the letters consistent, not using cursive. If you use cursive, or if you have inconsistent letters, the OCR does not work as expected. For some reason, it paints the text handwritten correctly. That's probably because of my handwriting. Let's just see a temp pre-processed image, pre-processed correctly. Now this pretty much passes the test. Sometimes it detects handwritten, sometimes it detects this from my experience. That's because of like the kind of sorts of randomness in the Zurich OCR algorithm. But I think that's just because my handwriting is bad. If someone had better handwriting, I feel like this would pass. So let's just pass this. Wait. Gradients background. I'm not sure if this. 1 minute. We already tested that, so it's still like I'm just showing you again. By the way, for the test case 2.8, I tried altering my OCR, my AUTO algorithm, by making it process a 3x3 grid separately instead of processing the whole image at once. However, that did not work as expected. It just gave me like a chessboard of inverted, like one tile was black, one tile was white, because when you separate an image into a grid, it kind of breaks my inversion algorithm, which works for whole text images, because it assumes the amount of text, the amount of foreground pixels is less than the background pixels, which is true for most text images. But if you make it a grid, that might not be necessarily true. I'm not sure if this has failed, but I think this is as expected, honestly. Upload image with no text to text translation mode. Let's try that now. Text translation. Beach ball. Now it still pre-processes every image because it cannot detect whether the image is what mode currently. Now we're just going to get a really weird image and the temp pre-process.png. As you can see, yeah, that's exactly what's happened. For some reason, it's leaving the border. Maybe it's because of the very excessive detected skew, even though there is no skew, because this is not text. No text detected, none, as expected. Upload image with a known object. This is the object translation mode. Let's try the beach ball once again. It should detect the beach ball. We're translating English to English, so this is what we get. Yeah. Back. Past. Let's try a rarer image. Rare object. Telephone box. Now these images, they're objects. These objects are kind of cherry-picked. Because, you know, I put an entire list of like culturally specific items in the object detector.py module. This is, by the way, mostly AI generated, so don't think this is like entirely my work. But like the list, that I had control over that, so I added culturally specific items. As you can see, the text there at telephone box. This is sort of a rare thing. Most object detection algorithms won't do that, which is why I struggled when trying to find a library that would detect rare images. Now the thing is, my program has to detect rare images, so I added them manually to the list over here. The object detector.py. It's a really large list of just stuff. A telephone box, double-decker bus, tube map, cricket equipment, rugby ball, punting ball, electric kettle, British power socket, Marmite, 8 pesos. Just a lot of things. Now this does not cover everything, which is a limitation. But it's good enough for what we have now. It's probably the best I can get with my resources. Even though it's kind of inaccurate since it relies on like large language models, which sometimes make errors, as you know. Sometimes it detects like a bunch of pain or chocolate as a crab pan for some reason. That's if you set the confidence to like 0.6. I set it to 0.7. Passed. But let's try once more with a different image. Now we have a coffee and some sort of pastry. Let's see if it detects what sort of pastry this is. It says this is a kouign-amann. Now let's search if this is a kouign-amann. As we can see, that's probably what it is. So it's passed. This is... Let's try one more image. This has a bunch of Danish stuff. Actually, let's try Danish pastry. I have a photo of Danish pastry somewhere here. Downloads. Detects it. So it's passed. It's kind of slow, but it passes. Translate detects objects labeled to another language. Let's see. We want Danish pastry to be translated to Turkish. Now you can see all of the debugging and statements in the terminal. In like a finished version, this would be an executable. And the print statements and stuff would be like not allowed to run. That's interesting. Why did it not work? It worked yesterday. Let's try again. German. Probably some issues. Yeah. translation module. Probably the connection. It should translate to Turkish. Let's try translating to Turkish one more time. I'm very sorry, there was a slight distraction. Let's do this. The Turkish does not work. Should. Let's just test this out on its own. It works. Well, let's try a different image. I think the server just doesn't have Danish base escape for some weird reason. These are all like API problems. They're not caused by me, so even if something went wrong, I can't really do anything about it for the time being. I wanted to use a more capable API than LibreTranslate, but that's what I got because otherwise I would have had to pay for the translation service and it had some restrictions, which is not ideal. I can use LibreTranslate how much ever I want. We're gonna build a Queen Amman image, translate it to Turkish, or something else. Beach ball. Let's try the beach ball. That's pretty common image, should work. So there's some lag. Let's see if we can pass some tests. Let's just pass these first of all, because we saw that they work. Just going to quickly pass some tests. Let's check. Yeah, so the Turkish works, but for some reason it doesn't translate Danish pastry. Let's move on to the next test case. Passed. 2 images, passed. We did this with the Queen Amman Cafe au Lait. Let's translate to Spanish, just to show you. I don't think this is a suitable image because these are both not really like translated since they just become loanwords, right? Cafe au lait is already French, but we use it in English. Let's see if I have prepared a different image. I have this image of Danish stuff. Let's try that. On the Danish pastry. What is a Dala horse? Is that anywhere here? Ah, so it doesn't detect most of these. Let's try a different image. Pen and paper. I think this is a pretty good test case. Save image as. That should work now. Doesn't detect anything, unfortunately. Let's check out the list. Let's update something here. What image of their object? Past. But unsatisfactory accuracy rate. Because of this size limitation. Red telephone box and double-decker bus. I think these would work together. Since these are both British things. There has to be like some sort of image of both of these. Perfect. It only detects the telephone box. Oh well. We need to move on. Maybe the confidence is just way too high. Let's check. I'm going to try and fix that from here. I set the confidence over here 0.7 and set it to 0.6, see what goes on. Since you should be able to detect it. Nope. Let's move on. A potential fix in the future would be just to use a better object detection algorithm. Now, I don't have any experience with deep learning, machine learning, so I couldn't make one on my own. So I had to rely on an AI generated one that utilizes a transformers library. Transformers is this library. Essentially, it uses LLMs, Kinner ChatGPT 4.0. It uses many APIs to do what it does. Meta Llama, as you can see, NVIDIA Llama, DeepSeek AI, Qwen. Let's move on to the next test case. Upload. So now we're moving on to mathematical operation recognition. Upload image containing a math line, like me in 3, 4, 5. Upload multiple commands in one image. Upload image with some invalid expressions. Use complex expressions. We're going to test these out all at once, just to save some time. I have an image prepared for exactly this purpose. I'm just going to show it to you briefly. It has a bunch of calculations. It has a non-calculation line over here. So this tests all the test cases. I expect them all to pass. I tested out the calculations before in Desmos. It follows BODMAS, it's all correct. I don't doubt any of these results, they are all correct. And in the final line, it ignores, it's giving us an error. It doesn't break the rest of the program. So now let's pass everything. Let's just add this as a capture. As you can see, you cannot save this unless there's a title to the data. And we can save this to the database unless there's a title. Yeah, there was also already a title in the captures with that name. These two are the same. Let's go back. I'm going to show you deletion, actually, because that's one of the test cases. It's removed. Calculations 2 is gone. I'm going to show you that. It's gone now. Let's just pass some of these. Navigate to the home page. So you can search through captures. Page capture button. Pass. Change image path of capture. I'm going to demonstrate that to you in a minute. Navigate between pages, add many captures. This book should become scrollable. Source using drop-down captures menu. Pass. Back to home page. What's the next test case? This looks like we're on registration. Passwords left. Let's move on to the image path briefly, since that was related to the captures thing. So now we have our captures page, right? Let's say I move the image path of this image. We won't be able to access it anymore. Now, what this could have done was break the program, but instead it shows a placeholder. So let's see that in action. Let's move one of these files. One I'd like to get rid of. Let's get rid of this image. Actually, let's just rename it. If we rename it, it won't be accessible anymore. As you can see, no image available. Doesn't break the program. Satisfactory, it passes. However, it would be better if the image was stored in the database somehow. Let's move on to the login page. No, the registration page. We're going to add another test user 2. All fields are required. Let's just make the password in both of these. And valid password, check requirements, which are here. Yesterday, when I recorded the first testing video, the first draft, this wasn't here before, which caused some confusion, because I literally tried to use this password to create a user, and I was confused because it met all the requirements. But in reality, there's another requirement. It shouldn't be a variation of a weak password. And there it is. It's literally the second weakest password in this list. So let's try one of these passwords. It fits the requirements, but we won't be able to use it. Now let's use a good password, which is this one. I say good, but it just fits all the requirements. So you can see registration was successful. Now let's try to log in, test user 2. Let's try to log in with the wrong password. I'm gonna use the same password, but add one letter. What if we try to log in with just password? Once again, it doesn't work. It instantly detects this is like a very weak password. But if it's a password that meets all the restrictions, you can see it's processing here. Actually hashing password to see what the result is. And comparing it for the value in test user 2 in the database. Let's log in with the correct password. It's hashing it. Login successful. So now we're done with user data and search management. What's left? Now let's try brute forcing. Actually, those don't really work here. We're gonna use these passwords. So try and brute force. Huh. Hmm. Why does it slow down? Are these passwords not valid? No, no, yeah. Detected the password is here. It's a good sign. So if the password is not valid, it will just process it instantly. But if it is valid, it's going to hash it. It's going to be pretty slow. As you can see, it takes like 3 seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. 3 seconds to process each valid password. So brute forcing won't work. In theory. Now let's log in with the actual password. I think it's just test user 3. Test user 2. Go to captures page, back to home page. No captures found, as expected. Logout button works. Let's try to log in with test user 1. The logouts button works here as well, since this is a class I defined. Save and logout. It was also supposed to have a save button, but I didn't see the purpose in that since the save button is only in one image, in one page. So let's log in once more. Let's go to the home page from processed image page. So the GUI navigation, unless there's some processing happening, always works as expected. Now I'm just going to show you the captures just to like pass another requirement. Wait. Title, calculation 3, load, calculation, upload dates. Everything is included. The image is displayed, the calculation input is displayed, calculation output is displayed. So it passes all the requirements. Text translation, upload date, the image, which used to be here. Text is text, translated text, source language, target language. This is all stored in the database. Same thing with this. All of the relevant information is there, so this pass. Add many captures. I think this is the final test. I'm going to show you. There's a scrollable list box here. It does not appear scrollable because there are like only 5 items, but it actually is scrollable. Going to test this out using running this directly. As you can see, we're scrolling now. This doesn't even do anything. So we actually opened the captures page for test user. Now this might seem not secure, but I'm assuming that the person using this program does not have the source code. If they had the source code, you can simply open each page by just typing in the username. Not secure, but assuming they don't have the source code, they're not running it directly, they just have an executable. Security works as expected. Can start by ascending, descending, sending. Let's do this and then remove something. Escapes the mode. The capture is moved. All works as expected. So it passes. Where was that? Anyway, thank you for watching this testing video. I hope that I tested everything you wanted to see me test in the program. I hope this offered a comprehensive view of what the program should do, as well as provided some valuable video evidence rather than screenshots for some of the things like speed and the processing, the slowness, stuff like that of the login page. And I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.